So I recently watched an Instagram reel. Wow, that makes me sound old, doesn't it? But I watched an Instagram reel by the user at Anna.var0 on a bakery out in London called Jolene. And rarely does a reel hold my attention like this. She broke down the brand visuals, the entire vibe of the brand, but most importantly, she broke down the impact that Jolene is having on its community. And it got me thinking, because when we talk about Jolene, we're not just talking about, sourdough and croissants, right? We are talking about what could be the most polarizing logo in contemporary branding. Is it a masterpiece? Is it a middle finger to the design industry? Or is it, as some are saying, the official look of gentrification? But before we get into it, I'm Ziggy the Designer. I'm a graphic designer who's worked alongside some of the world's biggest brands, including United Airlines, Target, and Stanford University. If you like the conversations that we're having on this channel, do me a favor by giving this episode a like, leaving a comment down below, and of course, by hitting that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Design is all around us, so let's talk about it. Let's start by looking at the tape. If you haven't seen it, the Jolene logo looks like, it looks like a 6-year-old drew it, and that's because a 6-year-old actually did draw it. Studio Frith, shout out to Frith Kerr, an absolute legend, was tasked with creating the identity for this bakery seen all over London's hippest neighborhoods. The brief, they wanted something naive, right? Something that felt like the future, something that felt like hope. So Frith asked her son Igor, who was 6 at the time, to write Jolene on a piece of paper. Now stay with me. This isn't just, some cutesy logo here. This is a deliberate high-level design choice. It's got that childlike anarchy, right? It's messy, the spacing is off, the letters are sloping, but when you pair that raw logo with dusty pink walls, industrial strip lights, and 5-pound loaves of bread, it creates an atmosphere that is just undeniably cool. People love this work because it feels honest. In a world of sterile, pixel-perfect tech logos, and I'm looking at you, Google, Jolene feels human. It feels like your neighbor made it. It's anti-design at its peak performance. But this is where the room begins to feel divided. There is a massive conversation happening right now about how gentrification has a look, how gentrification has a font. And design-wise, historically, we've thought of gentrification as Nutraface, right? Those clean, minimalist sans serifs you see on every new luxury condo building that seems to be popping up. But Jolene represents a new wave. It's the industrial chic, handwritten aesthetic, right? Critics such as Anna on Instagram argue that this naive look is actually a very expensive, very calculated signal. When you drop a scribbled logo like that into a neighborhood like Newington Green, which had been historically considered a no-go type of area, it creates a friction, right? It's what some call the aesthetics of scarcity. It's this new idea that looking unpolished is now a luxury. If the logo looks like a kid drew it, but the pastries cost more than a full English breakfast down the street, that's a signal. Is it a gentrification font? Well, let's look at it like this. If you see that handwritten logo on a tote bag, you just know that rent is going up in that neighborhood. And I'm going to be real with you, right? This is a great case study in how design has impact beyond the medium, right? We aren't just talking about ink on paper or pixels on a screen here. We are talking about how design dictates how people interact within a community. And I can respect the design here, right? I can respect the craft. I can respect Studio Frith for having the guts to use a child's handwriting to make this iconic piece of branding. This is elite level of creative direction here, don't get me wrong. But Anna is completely right. Design lets you know who it's for. And when you have a brand identity like Jolene's come into a community like Newington Green, where the gentrification conversation is already a powder keg, you end up with something polarizing because that design is now a gatekeeper. Think about it like this. I feel more comfortable doing my grocery shopping at Trader Joe's than I do at Whole Foods. Why? It's because of the hand-drawn signs, right? There's this intentional casualness that you get when you go into a Trader Joe's as compared to a Whole Foods. Or how about this, right? My fellow Chicagoans should understand exactly what I'm talking about. I will never walk into a Foxtrot. Why? Because the branding tells me exactly who is allowed in there and what the price of entry is. It's sleek. It's curated, it's exclusive. People like me don't go to Foxtrot. Design is just that good at setting the tone. Jolene's logo isn't just a drawing. It's a signal, right? It's great design, but great design can also be a weapon of exclusion. And yes, right, I know that this is commercial art. I've worked on this side before. I understand that Frith had a brief. She had an audience that she was designing for, and she did a great job. But at the same time, this is commercial art. This isn't behind some paywall at a museum. That Jolene sign is out in the public, so whether you like it or not, the masses are going to be interacting with it. I don't live anywhere close to London, and I've interacted with this branding, and odds are you are in the same boat as me. And yes, while I understand the importance of meeting the brief, there is also a responsibility that we have as designers to design something that is appealing to the general public, because when you don't do that, you end up with conversations like the one we're having right now. But look, that's just my opinion. I want to hear from you all. Is the Jolene logo a brilliant piece of naive art, or is it the ultimate signifier of a neighborhood undergoing massive change? Do you think brands have a responsibility to fit in, or is the friction the whole point? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and while you're there, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's that 1, I love graphic design, and 2, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.